This morning, Denmark's Prime Minister has praised the people of Greenland for their resilience amid mounting pressure from the Trump administration to take control of the semi-autonomous Danish territory.
And the world needs us to have Greenland, including Denmark. Denmark has to have us have Greenland.
I want to ask you about Greenland. Vice President J.D. Vance is in Greenland today, reiterating their insistence that Greenland can't protect itself and that America basically ought to own the nation.
Obviously, we respect the sovereignty of Denmark, the sovereignty of Greenland by extension. We're an Arctic nation. What we have focused on most immediately, I'm going to use your question as an opportunity to underscore the major steps that this government has taken in the last 2 weeks to reinforce our Arctic sovereignty.
An unexpected Arctic shock has just rattled Washington. Greenland, once targeted by Trump as the next star on the American flag, has slammed the door shut. And instead, they've handed the keys to Canada. This isn't just about frozen land. It's about $3 billion in rare earths, NATO unity breaking apart, and President Trump losing his Arctic dream to his quiet northern neighbor. Imagine trying to buy a country, and they sell their treasure to someone else instead. That's exactly what Greenland just did, and the fallout could reshape the global map. Trump's fixation on Greenland began in 2019, but in 2025, he turned that obsession into policy. In his March address to Congress, he declared the U.S. would annex Greenland, one way or another. He revived Cold War-era plans, rallied the Pentagon, claimed Greenland was vital for U.S. national security. But behind the scenes, something very different was happening. While Trump shouted, Canada acted. In a quiet move, Ottawa struck a $3 billion deal with Greenland and the European Union. Two Canadian firms, Greenland Resources and Amarok Minerals, locked in rare earth and gold mining rights. This wasn't just economic, it was strategic. They offered local jobs, shared profits, and respected Greenlandic sovereignty. While Trump threatened, Canada built. Greenland's response was swift and brutal. Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen said it clearly: Greenland belongs to the Greenlanders. A joint statement with Denmark warned that coercion would undermine NATO's integrity. For Trump, this wasn't just a rejection, it was a humiliation. So, why is Greenland so important? The island holds 38 billion tons of rare earths, 17 billion barrels of Arctic oil, massive untapped reserves of gold, graphite, and neodymium. These minerals are essential for EV batteries, hypersonic missiles, nuclear energy, and the global green transition. The stakes? Nothing less than the future of energy and defense. Canada didn't act alone. It built an Arctic coalition. Europe's Green Fund, Norway's pension fund, and even UK equity backed the project. A $3.1 billion Arctic Transition Fund was created, intentionally excluding US banks. France even sent a nuclear submarine to Baffin Bay as a signal. Greenland became a fortress of Allied cooperation, outside of Washington's reach. If this story shocks you, imagine how it feels inside the White House right now. Canada just beat the US at its own geopolitical game. Make sure to subscribe for more real-time updates on power shifts, trade wars, and global strategy. Because this Arctic standoff, it's only just beginning. Greenland's parliament passed a law. 70% local employment in mining. 10% of profits go to a national future fund. And all infrastructure must benefit locals. Canadian firms agreed. US firms hesitated. This was no longer a bidding war. It was a political statement. Trump's national security team was stunned. Defense giants like Lockheed Martin and Raytheon began scrambling for alternative mineral sources. Missile tests were delayed. EV production slowed. Meanwhile, US allies in NATO began questioning Trump's Arctic policies. Denmark refused to negotiate. Norway issued diplomatic warnings. And Canada quietly celebrated. The economic impact didn't stop at the Arctic. US automakers faced material shortages. Energy giants saw projects stall. And as Canada blocked battery exports from Ontario, the Inflation Reduction Act's supply chains unraveled. The US had the law, but not the materials. This isn't just a deal, it's a doctrine. Canada's Arctic hexagon links, Greenland's minerals, Baffin Island's iron Canadian LNG, and even joint space facilities with NASA. It's a geopolitical chessboard, and Canada now owns several key squares. Trump can't buy Greenland, he can't pressure Denmark, and military action would violate NATO. Limited flyovers and base visits are still possible, but viewed as provocation. Even inside Congress, opposition is growing. Trump's bold Arctic move? Backfiring spectacularly. Greenland isn't for sale, it's not a pawn, and in 2025, it just redefined Arctic power dynamics. Without firing a shot, Canada and Europe now hold the keys, and America? Left knocking on a locked door. Is this the beginning of a new Arctic Cold War? Can the US recover from this geopolitical loss? Let us know in the comments. Subscribe for grounded, high-impact insights into global power shifts.